Hello, guys, and welcome back to one of my streams in the shadows. Because if I don't do this, this thought is going to keep me up all night, and I cannot afford that. But the title of this is The Cost of Wasted Time, and it's because do you guys ever wonder the actual cost of time that gets wasted? And this is going to be one of those streams in which, because I did not meditate on this before I got the camera out and started rambling, it's probably going to be all over the place and a disaster, but I'll try to keep it short and straight to the point. So, there are so many different ways in which time is like a commodity. Because, okay, when you're at work, you're on the clock, which means that you are costing the company money to be kept there. So I understand why sometimes a manager may have the pressure of wanting to get you to work a whole lot more for less. Because it's like if you get everything done quicker, then you don't have to stay longer and they can send you home early and quote unquote save on the resources, as they like to call it. But similarly, when you're in your job and you're not being productive, and the time that you're wasting on, say, socializing or being distracted by, depending on which organization you work for, you may be trying to check on your phone in a clandestine manner. So that time is being wasted, so it's costing something. But additionally, outside of the work environment, time costs, because when you waste too much time not doing something, it comes back to bite you. Like when you just procrastinate so much, you end up regretting it because you stress yourself out to do, say that you have a project that's supposed to take you 8 hours to complete. You're trying to cram into maybe an hour that you have now because you wasted the other 7 hours just messing around, and now you're trying to be responsible and cram everything that you can to your finished project, or into finishing the project in just 1 hour. So you cannot expect for a quality product out of that when you haven't put in the time and the effort. Um, then also, when it comes to relationships, it's very easy to waste time because sometimes you interpret a relationship as wasted time when it goes wrong, but at the same time, you cannot look at it as a waste because you needed to go through the experience to learn something. If you didn't learn anything, then you're doing something wrong. But when you spend, say, more than 2 years with someone, I think that's quite a milestone. So all of a sudden, when the relationship doesn't work for some reason, you have a right to get frustrated because you worked so much on this. Clearly you made it for 2, 3, 10, 20 years together. Let's extend the length of the relationship. And then all of a sudden you see it just dying and crashing down. It's gonna make you feel some type of way about the time that you invested on it. So that's another example of the true cost of time being wasted, because you're like, oh, wow, that's time that I just cannot get back. So it costs you a lot of effort and energy to not be resentful about the fact that you wasted a lot of time, say, investing in a relationship. See what I mean? So it's kind of difficult for me to put my thoughts into words. I'm really trying. But it's just that for me, wasting time is one of the things that can really get me worked up, can really get me angry, because it's something that I just cannot get back. And it feels like immense disrespect for you to just have your time wasted. And it's nothing that you had to say over sometimes. Sometimes I'm at work and I'm like, there's nothing to do. But at the same time, I'm getting paid for this. I shouldn't care, right? Well, it's just that I'm not used to being unproductive, especially when I'm supposed to be rewarded at the end of the day for my productivity. See what I mean? So when it comes to wasting time, even if I'm sitting down doing nothing, I don't like to feel completely like I'm doing nothing. I like to feel, okay, I'm sitting down doing nothing, but I'm resting, I'm relaxing, I'm thinking about, say, a new recipe idea, or, it doesn't have to be me physically moving around doing something. It can be just solving something ahead of time so that I'm prepared to tackle it, you know? But there are other aspects of wasting time that I truly just cannot tolerate. And yeah, it's just crazy. I just don't want for a lot of time to go wasted in my life because I think that that is the biggest treasure, time, because it's literally something that just expires and you just cannot do anything about it. So, unlike many other things that if it goes wasted, you can somehow grow it again or replenish it, but not time. That's why I don't waste time. I learn to focus on family and science. Science. Delicious, magical science. You agree with wasting time. Also, many jobs are monotonous. The same thing in and out. It's because your brain craves more, probably. I had the same issue with other jobs. See, I'm the same way. Um, I love to be mentally stimulated, and sometimes when it comes to physical work, I can do it, but I would rather not do it for a prolonged period of time because I'm only designed to handle so much. um, but mentally, I just don't like to not be engaged because I hate the idea of being a zombie. You know what I mean? So just do whatever, but do not let me lose interest mentally because I get depressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't like to feel like I don't have any worthy thoughts, or if I'm not physically productive, at least I can be mentally productive. Like there's a lot that I can do without having to write down to remind me or have a structure or a plan for something. You know, it's probably because I have exercised my brain to be able to handle that load of information. So that took time for me to train my brain, you know? So I cannot say that me sitting down just staring into the distance sometimes is a waste of time because it isn't. It's helping me grow. But some people don't get that. Like I can be perfectly silent for hours sometimes, but eventually I need to do something else, something engaging. But anyways, Physical is okay, but the body gives out for sure. I used to work two jobs and school full time. I was bored. Good thing I had extra projects to keep me going. Wow, I just wish that I could be the same way because as much mental potential as I have, I completely run away from the idea of working two jobs and going to school at the same time. So I I was honest with myself. It's not probably entirely that I can't handle going to school and work at the same time. It's just that I feel like as a young person, I shouldn't be designed to take that load of stress, because that's all that I learn. That's all that I will associate with my reality. I don't want to constantly feel like that's what my life is about, being constantly bombarded by stress. So, uh, when it comes to working two jobs and perhaps not going to school, man, the idea of having to go from job A to job B, juggle the schedule around, not being able to predict what traffic is going to be like, not being able to predict what kind of day I'm going to have, what kind of hours. I think that is just too much for any human to handle, healthily. Because clearly it's not impossible. You've done it, and I certainly know other people who have done it. But all of these people had something in common. They were miserable. And if I can prevent disaster of that kind from happening, you better believe I'm steering away from it. Because you guys who have been around in my channel, you know some of my stories of what frustrates me and what makes me sad. So, you see, I'm trying to protect myself and take care of myself because no one is going to do it for me because it's not their responsibility. Everybody else has their personal life to take care of. So at least I acknowledge that and I accept that I just lack in that department. I don't know how to handle a lot of responsibilities of that kind happening at the same time. So, two jobs and school, and me being an overachiever, I need my sleep. I need my free time. I need my time to sit down and do nothing, or what seems like I'm doing nothing, because during that time of me doing nothing, I'm doing a lot of thinking. Thinking in my day is just important for me. A chaotic lifestyle, such as having a very busy schedule with two jobs and school, yeah. I just cannot see myself smiling for a long time under those circumstances. And then, it would also help if I had at least a little bit of support, maybe from family, or have a more solid friends base. But I can't say that I really count on that. So I just don't want to lie to myself. I could do it, but I don't have to. That doesn't have to be my reality. So, I just want to take care of myself. That's it. And hey, Mr. Bees, I'm just rambling, so sorry that it took me a moment to get to you. Conformity to society is a pain sometimes. I just want a job that satisfies my interest. It's interesting, keeps me busy, and challenges me in many ways. Yeah, I think that's honestly what we're all looking for. But because we don't have our own thing going on, that becomes difficult. Because when you work for somebody else, they make the rules, they control your time, and they decide what you wear in some occasions. Well, I think everybody has a dress code policy, but they also control what you say and how you say it. Like where I work at, sometimes there's an issue with a machine and we cannot have certain products out, and we're not allowed to tell the customer certain things. We have to go with whatever leadership tells us to say. And I don't like that. I like to be fully transparent and fully honest. So, if a machine is down, just say that it's down. So I just cannot be happy somewhere where I cannot be appreciated and embraced for who I am and my special talents. That's why I work for myself and dropped out of college. What I do now is much better. I admit it sucked trying to balance a marriage and two jobs, and one was military. I hated it for real. CDH, that's exactly where I didn't want to be at. So I admire you. You pulled through, and I can see that you have the passion to keep your stuff going because you're working on other business projects now independently. So that is amazing, and I admire it. Um, but like I said, on my end, if I can avoid that, I will. So that's why I have been careful about not having kids, not getting married, since I'm not prepared. And, um, if I can avoid disaster from happening, I'm doing it. That way, I don't have to worry about finding that so called balance that we all need. I know it's coming. At some point, I'll have my family, I'll have my husband and my kids, and I'll have to figure all of that out. But until I get to that bridge, I will not worry about it. So I like this little bit of freedom that I have of, okay, um, I can say that I'll wait until I get there and then go about it. But I'm sort of controlling when that happens. By me controlling when that happens, I give myself better odds of handling it better because I'm taking my time at preparing for that. See what I mean? So I called that vegging out, which is needed. I am so glad I work for myself now. Yeah, I can imagine how wonderful it is to work for yourself. You're your own boss, you make your own schedule, you have control, you have a full say of everything. You can get up whenever you want. And yeah, I can imagine that, and it must be amazing. I can be your friend base even if I'm kind of far away, as you know. Yeah, that's why I like to stream and I love to see you around because yeah, it's it has a good effect on me, so I appreciate you for that. And everybody else who has been coming into the channel lately. You guys have been so great to me. Science and food is life. I'm all about entrepreneurship. My dress code at home is underwear most of the time. Well, I cannot say the same because whenever I'm online or streaming or something, I'm thinking I'm dealing with people. If these people were present, I would not be wearing nothing. So, so I also have like this paranoia of what if my phone somehow slips from the stand that I sit it in, or sometimes my hands just have butter in them, and my phone just falls out of my hand and then hits my face, and I anticipate that when I get up and go see myself in the mirror, I'm going to see like this just hole in my head or something terrible from the impact of the phone, because let me tell you, it hurts when your phone falls on your face. So so imagine that falling and then I'm not wearing pants or something, and then you guys see that and I have no way of editing that because it's live. No, 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 not interested, not interested. So most jobs don't want people to panic, and individuality can offend certain people. Tell me about it. Just people and their sensitivities nowadays. It's like it almost feels like we are a society that we create problems. Like, like stuff that shouldn't even be a thing becomes a thing. Like, effing, why? Why? If you want help with side business ideas, hit me up. I'll consider it. And I changed my pic so you won't see the crazy pic. nice description and butter well. You never know, you might get 100,000 views. Well, exactly, because let's say that one of you guys somehow decides to just share that one video of my, accident, and then everything propagates in the internet so quickly that is so terrifying for me, and that's why I take this super seriously and try to manage my channel and social media interactions everywhere else as responsibly as possible, because I'm like, would I act this foolish on a real life setting? No, right? Why would I not want to transfer that to my online life, which has the potential of reaching everybody in the world, and then I'll be recognized in the street, and people are just gonna, like, think of me a certain way because of my actions? No, no, no. I want people to judge me for the right things. You know what I mean? So, anyways, uh, I always say that's why we have insurance, because people crazy and create more issues. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like there's stuff that we weren't discussing a decade ago, or a like last century, last millennial, and here we are, like millennium. God, I'm so stuffed that I can't say anything. I hate that. It's the weather. Like, I'm trying to warm up my place, but then I go outside for a second, and all of my efforts just, yeah, feeble attempts at remaining healthy. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm gonna have to bail now to start getting some rest. I have a long shift tomorrow, and it is a mid shift. And it's one of those jobs that requires me to pretty much cover every single inch of the building. So I'm going to get a workout, that's for damn sure. So, anyways, I have a new task in my bucket list. I need to drop my phone in my underwear. I'm not scared. Yes, the weather sucks. Well, when you do that, I am not interested in you forwarding that to me in the event that the camera in your phone is rolling. So yeah, keep that away from me. um, but I'm not gonna lie. Something that I have done bad at is during my exercises. You're silly. Sometimes, you know that girls, for some reason, our garments never have pockets. Well, I create a pocket based on an undergarment. Use your imagination. Okay? All right. You too. Enjoy your night. Bye.